Hello and welcome to the Exalted Empress Tarot. If you found this message today, it was meant for you. So, this is one of my wild card readings. If you've been here before, I, at the time of recording, do not know what message we are going to get today. So we are just going to, we're just going to shuffle the deck and see what comes out. And then I'll go ahead and share with you what message is for the collective. So we have a Knight of Wands and the 10 of Wands. So a lot of fire energy right off the back. 3 of Swords in reverse. Ace of Pentacles. Let's go ahead and make this first row this stack, and then, like with all my wild card readings, there are multiple tarot card decks specifically. I like to do that in case there is a message that's coming out very strongly. There will be repeat cards from each deck. So it doesn't always happen, but has happened here. So let's see, do we have room for one more card? I think if I squish them together, I will have room for one more card. So let's do that. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow. Okay. So we may not necessarily need Oracle deck today because we got a lot of tarot cards out. And I love that we have the Justice card at the end there. I've been getting the Justice card with a lot of my readings recently. And I'm going to go ahead and for the second deck, even though it's a little smaller, I'm just going to take out, a lot of King energy. We have King of Wands and the King of Swords back to back. They don't play, you guys. The top tier of the suits. Let's see. What was I saying? I'm just going to go ahead and line up the second deck with the other deck, even though I could probably fit a couple more on, just because unless we need the clarity on something, we are going to get a lot of cards in frame, which I love for you. We have the Ace of Wands in reverse, and this is the 7 of Cups in reverse. Let's keep this going. We have 2 more cards we need, and then we can start piecing together the message for you guys today. We have King of Cups. Wow. Okay, so if the last card is the, who are we missing? Cup? No? Pentacles, sorry. So the next one is the King of Pentacles. You have literally every single king. I got 2 cards. It always happens this way. I didn't have a 2. You do not have the last king here, but we have the Empress in reverse. Let me scoot this a little bit. And then it came out the Temperance card, so I'm going to use this as our last card for our message today, and I'll scoot it up when we get there. Okay, so let me sit with this real quick and see what I'm getting from the get-go. And I will read left to right the first row and then the second row in that order. Okay. I am getting that you are working on something really big for you specifically, some sort of project. It can be at work or it could be a personal project, but whatever it is, maybe you're starting your own business. For you, it is huge. It's taking center stage in your life. And you put a lot of energy in it. It's something you're very passionate about with the Knight of Wands. And then with the 10 of Wands, you've been putting so much work into it at this time. You're wondering if you have to put it down. You may have actually stepped away from it in the past. It doesn't have to be recent, but I am seeing with the 10 of Wands that it has become a burden. There's been a lot of movement towards this thing that you've wanted to do, that you've put energy in, and you've gone ahead and thought to yourself, do I walk away from this? Like, is this worth the effort? With the 3 of Swords in reverse, I think honestly, what I'm seeing is this is something that was not working. This was something that, or at least you interpret it it as not working at the time, and that's why you laid it down. But this isn't the Ten of Swords, it is the Ten of Wands. So the Ten of Swords is more of a definitive end. The Ten of Wands is more like it's a burden that we're laying down, but you can pick it back up. Ten of Swords, especially in the traditional tarot pictures, like the swords are in the back, all 10 of them, like we're not getting back up. But this is something that we can return to. And with the Three of Swords in reverse and the Ace of Pentacles, I'm seeing that you may be picking this up again. So this is something that you try to walk away from. You're like, it's not working, it's not working. But I'm seeing that there's like a passion in you about this topic, so much so that you're like, you know what? I'm not willing to let that go. This could also be a person, but again, I'm really seeing it as a project just because I'm getting a lot of picking it up and putting it down energy, which is going to be more in your control if this is a product you are working on. So with the Three of Swords in reverse, this is not a heartbreak because you are realizing that you can come back to it. With the Ace of Pentacles, and I'm seeing with new energy, a new idea on how to make this more fruitful for you in the future. So you're being a little bit more flexible on how exactly you approach this project that you want to be successful, however you measure that in this case. With the Three of Wands, I'm in reverse. I'm kind of seeing that there's not a full put together plan, or at least maybe there wasn't at first. I think maybe passion was the main driver the first time, but with the Page of Wands upright, we now have a lot more things in place and structured out. I think that you're realizing, okay, these are where things went wrong. This wasn't right. This wasn't correct. This kind of didn't go the way I thought it would. These things actually worked, which was a surprise. And so you're reorganizing things in a way that's like, okay, this is what would make a lot more sense than whatever I was doing before. So we're basically revamping and rebranding this project, even if it's not a business project. It could be a hobby. It could be maybe you're learning a new skill. Like for example, if you always wanted to learn dancing and you're really passionate about dancing and movement, but you didn't grow up dancing, and you started and you just felt like you couldn't get it, and you're like, never mind, like we can't all be dancers. And then 3 months later, you're like, I really want to start again. This is saying it's like, okay, maybe we can try different things. Maybe that wasn't the class. Maybe that wasn't the teacher. Maybe I just need to go more frequently. You know, maybe the classes I had was too much of a commitment, and so I never really felt like I picked things up because I didn't have time in between to like process and absorb. So whatever it is, I feel like this time you're realizing what went wrong and what went right, and so you're planning more based off of that than just the passion alone. With the Magician in reverse, I'm seeing that there may have been something about the situation too beforehand where you just didn't have the tools that you needed in order to move forward. So because those things weren't just like in your lap and in front of you, you could have tried to move forward and even had the best intentions, and it just was never going to work out in that format. It just wasn't going to. So that could have been part of the frustration as well. So you kept trying to push forward. But like it was just never going to work. And the roadblock could have been a multitude of different things. It's really hard to know. With the collective, like it could have been a bunch of different things, but the fact of the matter is like it's good that you took that break, because pushing more in that way was never going to make it work. You had to look at things from a different angle, and taking that break and taking that space is what made that possible for you. So if you have any guilt towards that, or wonder if like, oh, I just wasted time backing away from the hobby then re-entering, no, you didn't. You actually needed that time. And what I love, again, is that justice is right here. So things are going to be made right. So whether that's actually anything that has to do with two parties making things right or not, I kind of feel like it doesn't. it's going to be corrected. So the fact that you didn't get things the first time, you weren't supposed to. This second round or whatever round you're on, that's going to be the round that really is fruitful, that makes sense for you. At the Eight of Swords, I'm also seeing that you felt trapped in a situation before. So it was just unclear to you how to move forward after a certain point. Again, that's why there was a break. But Spirit is saying with this card that it's really in your mind. Whatever obstacle you thought you had, you did not really have. Again, there was something there that you couldn't work through, but it's only because you were trying so much to go through that path. It's like being in like a labyrinth, for example, being in a maze, and let's say that you kept going through and retracing your steps, and there's a certain spot where you kept making a left turn because it seemed so obvious to be the right way, and every time you made a left turn at that fork, you were like, well, these are the only paths, these are the only paths, these are the only paths. And it's not until you've like exhausted all the options as far as you can tell that you realize like, oh, there's this like teeny tiny path on the right, maybe that's the right one, that all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, if I had just taken that earlier, if I had just tried that other way, it would have worked out. So I'm seeing that here. I'm seeing that you really just needed to do that little thing different. And it's not about being stuck or not knowing the right way to go. It's actually just opening your eyes to the different options. You have in which direction to go. I love that the King of Swords and the King of Wands are here together, because the King of Wands is about having a lot of passion again, where you have a lot of passion for whatever this is. This is something that it may be a life career goal choice for you. It may be a passion in a hobby that you just didn't discover until later in life. Whatever it is something you truly love. And I feel like with the King of Swords as well, the honest truth is that like you should have been doing this the whole time. So there may have been some part of your life that held you back from this, that was outside of your control. Maybe in your childhood your family didn't have a lot of money, or maybe there was a specific way that success was looked at. Like if you were in a family, for example, where everyone played an instrument, maybe even multiple instruments, and you didn't really care to. You were like, I'd love to do some sports, but like we were not a sport family, we were a music family. And so you're over here with like the violin for no reason. You just don't care. And now you're finally being able to do other things and do the things you're actually passionate about. It's your passion and your feelings meeting your truth together at the same time. The King of Wands also has the ability of foresight, along with the King of Swords having a lot of truth and facts and honesty, whether you like it or not, together at one time. So these two together is like a really, really, really powerful energy. It is just like you're in the right place and then things work out really well, and that's when you go boom, like whatever you try or how you try it is just gonna work out so well. People are gonna think you've been doing it for years. Or if you've been doing it for like 2 years, people are going to be thinking you've done it your entire life. And you're just like, actually, no, I just started learning this. I'm actually a novice. But it's going to look to other people once you try this new direction, like you are the expert and that you've been doing this your entire life. At least, way beyond the amount of time that you've actually put into it so far, which is really cool, by the way. So just know, like, it's going to be so clear and obvious once you try this new direction, because you're just going to zip off. It's going to be like, why haven't I done this way this whole time? Why didn't I take this angle the entire time? With the Three of Cups too, I think it's going to open up an entire new community for you. You're just going to meet new people. You're going to be mingling with new people. You're going to have new people around you. And you're like, oh my God, like, this has opened a whole new world for me. Like, I even see this, like, for example, let's say there's a competitive aspect of whatever you like to do. You don't have to be competitive in it if you don't want to, but maybe you're just like at a level where people think you're competitive, or people who are competitive, they're hanging out with you. Like, think of, for example, like, people who have dance crews, they don't hang out. I mean, I'm sure they hang out with other people who don't dance. Or I don't know who the rest of us, like, two left-legged people are supposed to like hang out with. But you know, if they're thinking about like a dance competition, or like where they would find another team, or like who they want to dance with for a competition, where are they gonna look? They're gonna look at places where like other really good high skilled dancers in that form would go and would be. So even if not every single individual in that spot is a competitive dancer, all those people like are talking about the same thing, they're looking at the same stuff, they're appreciating the same things about dance at the same time. So that's what I kind of see for you, is like whatever you're working on that you're passionate about, it's really going to meet who you are as a person and your personality, and therefore it's going to start attracting people in who do the same thing, because they're going to see that and you're like, oh yeah, so and so's on my level, and then they'll ask you how many years you've done it, and you're going to be like 2. And you're like, why are you such a weirdo, but in the best way. So then we have the Ace of Wands in reverse. I think that things may feel a little interesting for you, but especially with the Seven of Cups. There may be some like opportunities or things that are brought to you a little early for you. Again, if you seem to really take onto a certain skill set, people may approach you as if you are like well advanced. I've been doing this for years. In the meantime, you're just like, I know almost nothing about this. And it may be uncomfortable, like, because you're like, well, if they're offering me this opportunity, or, you know, this doesn't have to be like for money or success or anything else. It could just be something that's would be a lot of fun, but you don't feel comfortable yet. Know that you don't have to automatically do everything that's put in front of you. If it's put in front of you, know that that's actually just an option that you have, not only with whoever's offering it to you, but for the future. Once you feel more comfortable and you're like, oh, I have this down, then you can move forward with maybe doing that with other people, or doing it with that person in the future, whether it's like a competition or it's just a higher level, like an advanced class and whatever you want to do, or you know, some other offshoot of let's say, another example, I've been taking horse riding lessons. So like if someone tomorrow was like, oh, which would not happen at this point in time, but if they were like, oh, do you want to do jumping? Like, you look like really comfortable. I would be like, no, because I would probably fall off the horse. But the fact that someone thinks like, oh, I must be doing that, or I must be doing that already, kind of gives you the sense like, oh, that's something I could do. That's kind of an offshoot. I could do that as well if I wanted to in the future once I feel more comfortable, because apparently it comes off as if I would know that already. So whatever you're doing, it's gonna give that same impression. And just keep in mind, like, if you start getting opportunities or questions about things that you feel like are a little advanced for you, can say no, but like keep a opinion of like, that's something that people already thought I knew. So that's probably something that may also come naturally to me, and I could try it out in the future and see if I'm interested in that as well. With the King of Cups and the Empress, I feel like as you move through things, it may feel like things are moving really, really fast for you in this area. Know that the King of Cups is about balancing your emotions. Don't get overwhelmed. Don't get filled with anxiety. Don't start to think, oh my God, I have to do all these things just because these things fall into your lap. You don't have to. Again, it's all about knowing who you are, what's best for you, and how to best move forward for yourself at your own pace. Like, don't let it freak you out like you should even learn even faster or anything like that. And with the Empress in reverse, a lot of things I feel like are going to come to you. I think a lot of things are going to fall into your lap, but proactively move towards what you want to do regardless. Even if things come to you and it seems like a sign or like you should do it, again, you don't always have to. It's about taking your time, and you know, you can always go back to that later. With Temperance as your last card, I feel like there's going to be a point where sooner than you think, maybe not in the month of March when this is filmed, maybe not in the next 30 days, but there's going to be a time when you move into the point where you feel like, oh my gosh, this is actually real, this is actually happening, this is no longer a new thing I'm trying, this is just working. and that may feel really odd to you at first. I feel like with this card of temperance, it's telling you to really like change your identity and put into your identity like, this is what I do, this is part of who I am, this is part of me now as a label. I am no longer learning this thing. I am name who is a this hobby or this project or this type of business owner, etc. Know that this may be built into your identity a little faster than you were expecting, but that is a good thing. Don't let the past where it was seemed a little slower and like it wasn't working mean that it's not going to work in the future, because it is, and it's going to be great. So I hope that resonated. If so, like, subscribe below, or comment if you would like to tell us about what you're working on, what your hobby or new passion is. I'd love to see you next time in the Empress's Court, either here or over on TikTok, and I will see you next time. Bye.